to welcome to the stage, Lana Parilla!
Montreal, I love this city. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Woo! Hi, Jason.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. I'm going to sit down.
So, how many times do people mispronounce your name?
All the time.
Someone
actually came up to me today, got an autograph, and called me Lana.
Lana?
Or they call me Lana. It's la la na na na.
I know a lot of people are here because of Once Upon a Time. And,
Yeah.
but you've been on some of my favorite shows.
Oh, really? Tell me.
You've been on Lost.
I have
You were on 6 Feet Under.
I was.
6 Feet Under to me is one of the greatest shows ever made.
I agree.
I named my son Nathan after Nathaniel.
Oh, wow.
After that character.
Yeah.
So, and you were on 24 as well.
Yes.
Now I know that the majority of people know you from Once Upon a Time, but when you're on those shows and you're with some of those casts, what is it like?
Well,
I mean, especially, let me just ask specifically,
yes.
What was it like to be on Lost?
I was just gonna actually, yeah.
Okay.
So, I am a huge fan of Lost because I started watching it because, well, a couple of reasons. One, I auditioned. Clearly didn't get it. And my friend Jorge Garcia was on it. So Jorge and I have known each other since I was about 18 years old. And we studied together, and we all support each other. When anyone got a show or a movie, we would all support them. So I started watching the show because of Jorge. And then I auditioned for that show probably 4 times and never got a part. And then auditioned for one part and got cast in another part. So I show up, now a fan, and I'm in the wardrobe room and I'm looking at all the character names in their clothes, and I kind of geeked out. And started smelling Sawyer's shirts. I mean, I am not alone in that, right? If you were near his shirts, what would you be doing? Smelling them.
Between Sawyer and Kate, I think people are covered well on that.
Exactly. So I totally fangirled over Sawyer's shirts, and then I learned how to surf. I learned how to surf on that show. And 24 was a show that I loved as well, because a girlfriend of mine got cast in the first season, and I started watching it, and the whole premise and concept was something we've never seen before, and I love Kiefer.
Yeah.
And so when I booked, again, auditioned for a different role and got casted. Happens to me a lot.
It's funny when you think of 24, because 24, as far as I can remember, 24 was one of the first shows that I binge watched.
Yes.
I think it was I don't know if it was the introduction of binge watching, but a lot of people binge watched 24 because you couldn't just watch one episode. It was the kind of show that you would buy on Blu-ray or on DVD, because we were talking about physical media before, and you would just plow through that show. So it's funny when you look back and you figure, we never really binge watched before, but that was a show that you just couldn't.
Yeah, that was like the beginning stages of this kind of storytelling and binge watching. I also remember, and this is funny, picking out my wardrobe because it's going to be the same wardrobe for the entire season. So you're like, oh my God, there's a lot of pressure here. Do I want to wear a skirt? Do I want to wear pants? I can never change. So I went with this skirt, which then I regretted later as the winter months approached us. So
because that show it shot in.
It shot in.
Did it shoot in Canada?
No, they shot in no, it was.
No, 24.
It was Los Angeles, but it was not Calabasas, off the 118.
Right.
No one knows what that means, but I weirdly do. Take the 5 to the 118, and then you get off somewhere next to the place you can get cheap tires at.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Your character on Once Upon a Time isn't actually the nicest person in the world.
What do you mean?
Well,
judgments.
But you seem so sweet in real life. Where do you go?
Do I?
Where do you Where do you go to get that?
My sweetness?
No, the other side.
Gelato.
Gelato.
Where do I go to get, like, to bring out the evil?
Yeah. Bring out the evil.
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
Yes.
Please
Sorry,
tell me.
that's the question. No, but really, like, what?
I try not to make any judgments about any character I play, and I try to understand the psychology behind their actions. And so, therefore, I think it makes me a much more compassionate person in the world overall, because we're so quick to judge.
Yeah.
But when you're portraying characters like this, you can't come from that place. So I try to understand the psychology behind her evil ways and justify them. She has some good reason to want to hurt people. And we all forgive her for it. It's crazy.
Well, that's it. You're a very lovable evil queen.